Well, hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Chris. Thanks for joining me. I had a couple of different technical difficulties, so I'm going to tape this on Zoom and then post it on YouTube so I can get this information out to you, because I'm going to be talking about D-Limonene tonight. And we can find D-Limonene in a lemon. This is what the name is derived from, D-Limonene, although it's also found in the skin of other citrus fruits like lemons, besides the lemons, oranges, grapefruits, limes, pomelos. And it's also found in essential oils. So see, I'm all thrown off. Lemon, lime, which with Young Living, we've got lime in the green bottle for aromatic and topical, and lime in the white bottle for internal use. Same oil inside. And tangerine, yum, grapefruit, and orange. And these all have vitality twins, so you can use them for topical, aromatic, and internal use with the vitality oils. So what is D-Limonene? Well, first of all, the D is important because it's an isomer. You will often see D dash. If you see an R dash, it means it's the mirror image of the molecule. So you don't need to know everything about it, just know it should have the D in front of it for this particular constituent that we're talking about. And it's a compound which is a monoterpene. Mono means one. And generally, this means that these are a little bit more volatile. If you're using it in a blend, it's usually going to evaporate quite quickly. Or if you're using it in a perfume, same thing, it's going to go out into the air very strong, but it will evaporate. So it's a lighter note, and it's from the plant, it's from the rind of the citrus fruits. And in general, especially when we're talking about the internal application, it is recognized as GRAS, G-R-A-S, generally regarded as safe for a flavoring agent, which can be found in a lot of the foods that you eat, like juices and drinks and baked goods and ice cream. And it is considered to have a fairly low toxicity. So everything I talk about tonight, I'm going to put the research related to this in the description, because I feel like it's important that you know there's science grounded behind this. I'm not just saying these things. I didn't pluck them from thin air. But I feel like it is really important to know where this comes from. So I'm going to talk about 6 of the benefits. Number 1 being immune system support. And so that is something that can help support your immune system on a regular basis. Or it's been also known to help with proliferation of cells in the body that have gone haywire. And I'll talk about that in a second. But I'm going to go to number 2, which is help reduce anxiety and stress. So this is another huge one. And I think that's why, they put lime oil in Young Living's blend of Stress Away, which I absolutely love, because stress can cause a number of things in the body, including inflammation, including accelerating aging, including being the initiation of disease processes, including, we know, heart disease is related to stress. It can trigger cortisol, which is one of our stress hormones, which can contribute to things like weight builds up around the waistline. It can disrupt our nervous system and create more things like anxiety in our body, pain, even depression, and this type of thing. So they actually have done studies. And in one, they looked at D-Limonene. They used rats, and they subjected the rats to stress, and also gave them D-Limonene, and these rats showed less signs of stress and retained better activity. So, you know, I know we're not rats, but they use rats for a reason because they're able to get results quite quickly. Another study showed that inhaling D-limonene reduced anxiety, which is another great suggestion on why it might work to use your essential oils in a diffuser, or even just, you know, breathe them out of the bottle or in your hand. Another study that I had come across when I was talking to my dentist about essential oils is that they did a study using orange oil and for patients before they went in for dental procedures, and found that their stress level decreased dramatically. So that's pretty cool. So this is how you can use D-limonene to help support your stress levels. Number 3, D-limonene may help support a healthy digestive tract. So there are studies that have shown it can help reduce the risk of peptic ulcers and other inflammatory gastrointestinal diseases. And I will put that study in there. And according to the researchers, the high concentrations of D-limonene in the essential oil bitter orange serve to protect the lining of the stomach of lab rats fed high doses of alcohol and non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs. So that's like your, you know, Tylenols and that type of thing. And it did so not by lowering the amount of acid in the system, because we do need hydrochloric acid to help break down our food and make it available to us. But what it did was increase the mucosa, there's a mucus lining inside of the stomach. And what it did was increase that mucus lining, which is very protective from the high acid content of the stomach, which is supposed to be there. It also helped to assist peristalsis, that's the moving of food through the digestive tract. And so rather than people having it sit in the stomach and then repeat on itself, creating things like reflux, it moved it through, so that became less of a problem. It also acts as an anti-inflammatory agent and also an antioxidant agent in your digestive tract because of this coating of this protective layer. It also does this in the large intestine. And a study, the scientists gave D-limonene to rats with something called ulcerative colitis. This is where you start to develop ulcers in your intestine. So it's sort of bare areas where there is no protection, and becomes very inflamed. And so after they gave these rats the D-limonene, it helped with this inflammation. It also helped with their antioxidant levels, which increase. And we need antioxidants to help quench free radicals, which are a reactive oxidative byproducts of our own metabolism, but also dealing with toxins that are coming into our worlds. So we know that D-limonene helps increase these antioxidant levels, and that study proved it. Also, it has been known to help with dissolving gallstones, and in the medical world, they've been using D-limonene for a very long time as a solvent of cholesterol, which is what gallstones are made of. So they have used it for that action for many, 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 many years. Number 4, D-limonene helps to reduce skin inflammation and support healthy skin. So there have been studies done looking at this, again, anti-inflammatory property of D-limonene and also tissue healing properties, especially for the skin. And they saw in studies that there was a reduction of severe skin lesions. It also helped with expediting the healing process of these skin wounds. It is acting to reduce cytokine production, which is a product the immune system creates in a reaction of inflammation. So again, a potent anti-inflammatory therapy that's been used in the medical world. And it also is used in a lot of skin creams, lotions, and potions. I know I use the lemon essential oil in my DIY products. A note on that is that you only want to use those at night, or if it's on skin that's being covered by clothing, because one caveat of using things like citrus essential oils and D-Limonene is that it can create a photosensitive response in the body. So you don't want to get burnt. So that's a precaution that you may want to take. Because of the antioxidant properties, of course, it's going to help with any damage that you might come in contact with free radicals. And these free radicals have also been known to be a component of possibly creating skin cancer. So there's that aspect as well. Furthering this support of the natural anti-inflammatory system for number 5, there was a study in 2010 in Japan that looked at this anti-inflammatory effect of D-Limonene, which again has been used for centuries in places like Japan. And they studied it on human eosinophilic leukemia cells, and they saw a difference with that. And they also looked at it, and it showed promising potential on treating things like bronchial asthma, which has to do a lot with inflammation of the air pathways. So again, these are all studies that have been done on D-Limonene in the literature. All right. Oh, I think I put that one in with all the other inflammation. So I think this one is number 5. There's a lot of crossover, right? D-Limonene may help relieve metabolic disorders and encourage a healthy weight. So metabolic disorders are health problems that can be pretty serious and also increase your risk of things like heart disease, diabetes, stroke. And typically people with metabolic issues have things like high blood pressure, high blood sugar, excessive body fat, especially around the waist, maybe abnormal cholesterol. And there's different types of cholesterol. So that's a general statement there. But a 2013 study in the European Journal of Pharmacology reported that obese mice fed a high-fat diet supplemented with D-Limonene experienced decreases in blood glucose, total cholesterol, and the quote-unquote bad LDL cholesterol, as well as an increase in the quote-unquote good cholesterol. And then another study demonstrated D-Limonene supplementation reversed the negative effects on the liver and the pancreas functioning caused by high-fat diets. Now, don't think this gives you license to just eat what you want, but if you are working on your maintaining a healthy weight and working on health issues, this may be something that you bring these studies up to your medical professional and see if they are familiar with the use of D-Limonene as a supplementation to help with these things. And then as far as a healthy weight goes, D-Limonene, the smell of it, breathing it in, so, just opening up your lemon essential oil bottle and breathing it in, or your stress away or your lime, seems to decrease appetite, at least in flies in this study, which obviously we need to do further studies. But I think it really plays into the fact that it's lowering your cortisol and your stress and anxiety. I think this is going to be super helpful in people that might be stress eaters, right? So when you're under stress and you just want to eat with, whatever you have around, which means you probably shouldn't have it around. All right, almost there. Thanks for hanging in there. I know this chemistry stuff can be a lot. Number 6, for use in prevention and treatment of people with cancer. So I'm not, again, touting and saying D-limonene is, the cure for cancer, but there are studies out there that actually have proven, and there's evidence that D-limonene can be helpful in some instances. So obviously things are still under, they're still studying all this, but they did find evidence in trials that D-limonene demonstrated a partial chemopreventative response in a patient with breast cancer. And there were other studies in 2013 and 15 at the University of Arizona Cancer Center. And they actually gave D-limonene to people, so to 43 women with newly discovered breast cancer daily for 6 weeks before surgery to test D-limonene's chemotherapeutic activity. So looking to see if it was going to help with the cancer. And they did find that there was a reduction in the number and size of the tumors that they analyzed. So these studies are providing hope for doctors that maybe the use of D-limonene can help slow cancer growth while they're doing other treatments. This is always something to look at. There was another study, 2011, at the University of Arizona Cancer Center. D-limonene from citrus peels displayed promise for treating cancer. And on this study, they showed upon ingestion, so taking internally the D-limonene, they found chemopreventative and chemotherapeutic effects. In other words, prevention and also treatment. It was very well tolerated. They don't know how it works. So of course we need more studies, but these effects that they found are verifiable. They're not just something that, occurred one time. 2012, Handard University in India, what they did was they looked at what's called apoptosis, which is cell suicide. Basically, as cells are dying, they sort of just give it up. So they looked at the D-limonene in response to this. And in particular, this study looked at the chemopreventative and anti-proliferative effects on skin tumors in mice. So again, they found significant reduction in the size of the tumors, and also it slowed down the overall progress of the skin cancer development. So they concluded that the combination of several beneficial effects of D-limonene included the diminishment of inflammation, lessening of that oxidative stress from free radicals, and apoptotic inducement. So those cells were giving it up, cell suicide, rather than proliferating and creating a tumor. More studies from Brazil looking at some other types of using D-limonene through intranasal administration and the advancement of cancer. And there's also been a study looking at D-limonene to increase the effectiveness of a particular drug against prostate cancer cells, so that it wouldn't be so toxic to a normal prostate. So there's a lot of things that are pretty exciting about using D-limonene, but for most of us, using it in our wellness regime and our wellness lifestyles, because this video in no means, no way, I'm not here to diagnose, talk about treatments. I am merely presenting studies that are out there in the literature for you to look at as far as what chemical constituents can do and where they can be found. So bring this to your medical professional and get their help and support in incorporating D-limonene into your life. Whether it is from the actual rinds of fruits, or if you want to just open your bottle of essential oil. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. And I will see you next week, hopefully straight on live on my YouTube channel. Try to figure out what's going on. Every Tuesday night, 7 p.m., hopefully, if technology is working for me. So give this a thumbs up if you found it helpful. Hit that share button, hit the notification button, and all of that good stuff if you want to find out when I'm posting new videos. Have a great week.